My name is Chris Nudo. I'm an attorney in the Chicago metro area, and we have offices in Rolling Meadows and Elgin, and a remote office in Bannockburn should you want to meet out there. Our practice focuses on probate, estate planning, and real estate and corporate transactional law. So, what is probate, you ask? Probate is the administrative process where the courts get involved typically, unless it's a small estate. This is how title is transferred and debts are paid for a person who has died. The number one goal we have when we do an estate plan is to avoid probate. Avoiding probate avoids unnecessary time and expense. And it's those time and expenses that we're going to talk about today because we're talking about the actual cost of probate. When we talk about the cost of probate, it's the length of the probate process, it is the cost of the legal fees, the executor's time and cost, and the overall time and cost. So let's first talk about the length of the probate process. If you have an estate that is over $100,000, the process is going to be a minimum of 9 months. That's from the time that you meet with the lawyer all the way through to the time the estate is closed. Here in our practice, the length of the probate process will be roughly 14 months. Sometimes we get them done quicker than 14 months. Sometimes it takes longer than 14 months. I will tell you, if you have an estate that's over $1 million and has a number of complex issues, such as lots of real estate or accounts, the cost and time of the probate is going to be much longer. Another contributing factor to a probate lasting is whether or not the family gets along. If there's any contest between family members where people are not getting along and agreeing with the administration of the estate, it's going to take a substantially longer amount of time, usually actually 2 to 3 times longer. Now, people usually fall off their chair when I tell them that the average cost of probate in our area is about $18,000. That's just the legal fees, court costs. That doesn't include a bond if it's necessary. You're like, a bond? What's that for? Well, if we have to go to probate and there is not a will that waives the probate requirement, the Illinois Probate Act requires that the executor purchase a bond to ensure that the executor doesn't steal any of the estate money. This bond can be very pricey. As a matter of fact, the minimum bond I've seen was several $100s, and I've seen them actually more between $2,000 and $3,000 in premium cost for estates that are about $1 million or less. When you have estates that are more than $1 million, the bonds get very, very pricey. Now, the average cost of probate across the country is about $12,500, but here in Illinois, it is much more expensive. Now, that doesn't include small estates. It doesn't include an estate where the value of the estate is under $100,000. But if you have an estate that's over $100,000, expect the cost of that probate to be over $10,000, closer to $18,000, like I mentioned. Small estates also tend to be rather problematic. These are the estates under $100,000. The amount of work to organize a small estate can be as much as somebody who leaves a big estate but well organized. And so the cost of small estate administration can sometimes far exceed the cost of the estate itself. Clients often ask me, Chris, why is it so expensive? And the answer is because of the amount of work that's involved. When we talk about hours, the average amount of hours that an executor spends managing a probate is 570 hours. That's the 16-month average. So you can see that it's like a full-time job being an executor, and that executor requires the help of the attorney. Time equals money, so you can understand why the probate is so expensive. When you combine the court costs, the attorney's time, the executor's fees, and the bond involved, the costs are 4 or 5 times more than if you would have just done an estate plan ahead of time designed to avoid probate. And so today we're talking about the actual cost of probate so that you can get an appreciation and design an estate plan for yourself that avoids probate. I get questions, Chris, can the executor actually take a fee for their service? Well, they're spending like 570 hours on average doing a probate. And the answer is yes, they can take a fee. The average fees across the country range from about 13,000 up to about $23,000. Here in Illinois, they're less. Usually we calculate executor fees based on an hourly rate, and that hourly rate can vary from about $35 an hour up to about $100 an hour, depending on the complexity of the estate. Now, it does cost more money to design an estate plan that avoids probate, but if your estate goes to probate, you have all of this unnecessary time and expense that your family has to deal with. Spend the time, spend the energy, design an estate plan with your attorney that avoids probate. We would love to do that estate plan for you. Give our office a call. We'll set up a no hassle, free consultation. You'll meet with us, we'll discuss your estate, and we'll design that estate plan that avoids probate.